Welcome to the Hemp Show. This is powered by CanTrade. My name is Mark Rastelli. I'm the CEO of CanTrade and the host of the Hemp Show. Next up, I'd like to welcome Steve Klotz, the National Sales Manager of Siskiyou Sungrown. Steve has been in the medical and recreational hemp/cannabis business since 2001. He worked with a number of cultivators, distributors, and packaging companies in Colorado, Washington, Oregon, and beyond. Steve is here to share his personal and professional experience with others throughout the industry. His goal is to provide information that can help buyers and customers alike make the best decision when buying hemp and cannabis-based products. At Siskiyou Sungrown, their goal is to create products that people can trust and understand in all 50 states. They pride themselves in transparency when it comes to Siskiyou's products and practices. Thank you for joining us today, Steve, and welcome to the Hemp Show.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We do appreciate it. So like he said, my name is Steve Klotz. I'm with Siskiyou Sungrown. I know there's a lot of products out there as far as CBDs, tinctures, ingestibles that are hitting the market. It's one thing to really know what you're getting when you purchase a product, especially since we're not really being FDA approved quite yet, which we look forward to in the future. But because of that, you really want to know what you're getting. I'm going to give you a little brief background today on like what separates us from everyone else in the industry and let you know what we believe is the future. First and foremost, like I said, a lot of these products out there are claiming themselves to be full spectrum. Full spectrum is turned into kind of a buzzword in the industry. It's kind of like all natural in the health and wellness center of the world. Unfortunately, a lot of people are just putting it on a label and you don't know if it's actually full spectrum. A lot of things like CO2, distillate, a lot of these other extraction methods are actually picking and choosing the different chemical compounds that are coming from the plant. What we've tried to do is use the entire plant for extraction. We use pure cane ethanol. That's basically purified alcohol that's pharmaceutical grade, so you can actually ingest it like an alcohol that you would buy at a bar. They've been using that method for thousands of years to pull the full spectrum of the plant out of it. For example, some of these other extract methods such as CO2, distillate, etc., they're only pulling oil soluble compounds. So they're pulling THC, all the terpenes, some of these different elements, which is great. And I think it's a wonderful way to vape and things like that. But our side of the world is really about health and wellness. We're really trying to heal and cure our clients. So with that said, everything for us starts with the product itself, which is cannabis, hemp, CBD. We have our own farm located down in and around the Siskiyou Mountains, hence the name Siskiyou Sungrown, down in Williams, Oregon. We have basically native land that has never been flown over with any pesticides whatsoever. We actually petitioned for them not to spray for things on the side of the road with pesticides. So we pride ourselves in a pesticide-free land. With that said, also, we do a sustainability growth method. So we do regenerative farming, which means when we cut our plants down, we actually put plants on top to actually bring the life of the farm back to itself. We do a lot of different sustainability things such as drip irrigation. We have our own water well, a number of things. We actually got first place for the sustainability competition for farming in Colorado, which was a really cool award for us. The cool thing about these plants, CBD, hemp, cannabis, that I'd love to let everybody know is it's called a bioaccumulator. What that means is whatever goes into the ground to grow these plants goes back into the plants. So if you aren't using good nutrients or good biomass, which we make, if you're using poor water, if you have pesticides, if you don't have good soil at all, the plant takes all of that in. So we believe that our medicine starts with that. That's basically the basis for our existence, is the best plant we can find. Cedar Gray and Madrone started this company in the medical field back in 2000. We started Siskiyou Sungrown in 2014. One of the big reasons that they focused so much on the care was that their son Ash has epilepsy and autism. And so they threw a ton of focus in the medical side to make this such a great healing agent. With that said, once we actually harvest to the peak potential of what our product can be, that's when it goes into the ethanol bath. And that's when we use our extraction. Every single one of our products is done the exact same way. We don't change anything. We basically use cane alcohol. We shake up our product. It gets strained. We consider it the magic sauce. We are, in the terms of everyone talking about it, the entourage effect is a real thing. We believe that nature has it correct. We believe that this cannabis plant and hemp plant is magic. We think that it's going to really, really, in some way, eliminate a lot of pharmaceutical products, even aspirin. So with that said, kind of fun to know that we're out here, creating history essentially. But with Siskiyou Sungrown, what it really is all about is us knowing exactly where our product is coming from. So we have our own farm, knowing the extraction method that we're using that's pulling not only the oil water, but the water soluble compounds. And the water soluble compounds, a lot of people know them. They're flavonoids and things like that, polyphenols. And flavonoids, everyone kind of knows that. That's what makes chocolate, wine, and green tea healthy for you, essentially. So once we take that special sauce that we put into all of our products, that's when we kind of hit the market with it. I know that a lot of people out here are thinking that CBD and these other products are snake oil. And unfortunately, due to the processes that other people are using, it might not work to the fullest potential. That's where Siskiyou kind of comes in to kind of break that mold, is that we are using a whole plant extraction method that's been used for hundreds of years that we know truly works. We've been testing our product for a number of years, and I think we're almost past the testing phase because we know it works. With that said, we have a whole multitude of different products on the shelves. One of my favorite ones is our sleep capsule. We actually combine it with a little bit of melatonin, and the great thing about it is it actually does not make you groggy whatsoever. Another big hit product for us is our tincture, and we use MCT, which is basically coconut oil. We found that that is an easy way to do a sublingual ingestion underneath the tongue, and it actually hits the bloodstream very quickly. We also do a CBD capsule, and I'm pretty positive that we are the first one to actually be able to work with a medical group to get that into powder form for full spectrum. We also do CBD for pets, etc. Our line is, I believe, in 30 of 50 states at the moment, and we're looking to expand. That's kind of where I've got my story here.
Very cool. Well, let's dive into a few questions here. So I want to get a little bit more into the specifics about. You mentioned the process is the same, and the infusion is the same that goes into all the products. To me, you use high quality ethanol and ethanol extraction. You do full spectrum with the entire plant. Is that like a very high quality Simpson oil, like an ROS?
Essentially, yeah. So in Oregon, we are like the leading RSO brand. We like to call ourselves FICO, which is full extract cannabis oil. That's exactly what it is. Rick Simpson, he did a great method of extracting that product to basically cure cancer, which he performed. He was just using a little bit more crude methods that hadn't really been tested correctly. He was using more of the alcohol that's probably got the double X on it that you shouldn't be ingesting.
Sure.
That's a great way to look at it. That's exactly.
Sure. Wasn't he doing it in like a crock pot?
He was, and he was using basically gasoline.
Yeah, that's no good. So can you dive into, do you have a little bit more specifics on the reason the quality of the alcohol is so important?
Yes. So pharmaceutical grade ethanol that's actually used for like human injection, it's basically like a purified moonshine. If I were to give an example about a quality per price, like a gallon of pharmaceutical ethanol is like $50 a gallon. And a lot of these other alcohols that are not used for human consumption, they're more industrial, for industrial use. They're like $3 to $5 a gallon.
But they're both technically 100% ethanol, 200 proof, yet there's just a major difference in the quality. So even though, is that correct? On the label, it says 200 proof, 100%, but you're not getting the same thing.
I mean, so here's a really good example. So we could have alcohol that was made in a factory that you can trust, like that you buy at a bar, or grandpa could have a tub full of moonshine in in his outhouse. So that's kind of the difference when you think about what you're actually ingesting, because a little bit of ethanol is left behind, no matter how we try to take it out. And we want first and foremost, like, for the health and wellness to come to light here. And we don't want to have anybody ingesting things that they shouldn't be.
Sure, sure. So, can you tell us more about the regenerative agriculture that you use? What are the processes? What is that?
So
What
like,
methods do you use?
basically, we actually cut our crop down, and then we do rows. So every row is only used every 2 years. And when we cut our plants down, we replant other plants such as peas, different herbs and things like that, that actually puts nutrients back into the ground. Very cool thing. We actually do outside cropping too, that actually helps with pest management. So we put a lot of sunflowers and things like that out there because we use 0 pesticides. We also make our own biomass that we use for our plants, and everything is done to the highest standard, even from our water. We do not get water shipped in. We were fortunate enough to have a water well that we maintain ourselves, and that we have access to the purest water you can get in Oregon.
Excellent. Yeah, that's something we lack down here in Southern California, is that real pure water. We're all getting it from Colorado and Oregon anyways, all these other states.
Yeah.
So can you tell us more about the Siskiyou Sungrown history? I know you covered it briefly, but what got you into, or what got the founders into cannabis and hemp?
So, like I was saying, Cedar and Madrone, in the early 2000s, their son had these, these things that they were trying to heal, with epilepsy and autism, with the seizures and things. And they were finding a lot of people were asking them for medicine. So-and-so has cancer, they have crazy anxiety, all of these other things that they were actually trying to cure. So back in 2000, they got their medical cannabis license. A lot of people thought it was very taboo. And they spent, 14 years really perfecting their craft, whether it was finding specific strains that they thought were helping in different avenues. And then 2014, they were able to actually go into the recreational business of Oregon. We're the leading quote unquote RSO in Oregon by a long shot.
Excellent.
We're very trusted here, and we have a wonderful following. We thank all of our customers because we almost have 100% return rate. But from there, they
100% approval rate, not return rate.
Return.
You don't want them to return the product.
Once someone buys our products, they usually buy it again. But thank you for that.
Okay. Oh, return rate is in repurchase. Okay.
Yeah, repurchase. So with that said, then once we had our cannabis thing going here, they started making these formulations with CBD, and our goal was to try to get this to everyone. Like, our motto is feel better, and we want everyone to feel better. I mean, especially in this day and age, like, you'd be surprised how many people are starting to get anxiety and just like this anxiousness. And that's what we're really trying to do. I mean, from the smallest aches and pains to your body to bigger situations like cancer and things, I think this is a great alternative for a lot of people. And so that history of where they had come from, even before this was really fully legal in our state and beyond, they've really been working hard on these different formulations and things like that.
Yeah, that's important. I mean, you can feel the passion just in the way you're speaking about Siskiyou. It's great. So we got about 30 seconds here. I'm going to ask that same question I asked earlier. What makes Siskiyou unique? Obviously, we only have a few seconds, and you just covered 15 minutes of what made it unique. But in 2 sentences, what makes it unique?
We are a vertically integrated brand where from start to finish where your product is actually coming from. And by far, we can be trusted. You know exactly what you're getting each and every time.
Excellent. That is killer. So if you're interested in connecting with Steve and Siskiyou Sungrown, please add them to your network on CanTrade. You can also place orders and ask questions directly from the Siskiyou Sungrown wholesale menu posted in the webinar chat, along with the CanTrade feed and in the podcast show notes. Thank you so much for joining us, Steve. And I got to get a care package.
Awesome. You'll get it.